My beloved child. Stop scrolling for just a moment. Don't skip. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. What you are about to hear is not just another story, it is a deeply emotional, fictional inspirational narration designed to touch your heart. Every moment leads to something greater, and what happens at the end will leave you speechless. There is someone who has carried your name quietly inside their heart for a very long time. Someone who smiled whenever they thought of you. Someone who kept their feelings hidden, not because they were ashamed, but because they feared that nobody would truly understand. But today, everything changed. Today, for the very first time, your soulmate gathered enough courage to sit down with the person whose opinion mattered more than almost anyone else's. Their father. It wasn't planned. It wasn't rehearsed. It happened naturally, after a long silence that neither of them could ignore any longer. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The room was quiet. The evening sunlight entered softly through the window. Neither of them spoke for several moments. Sometimes the biggest conversations begin with complete silence. Your soulmate looked down at their hands. Their father noticed. A father always notices what words try to hide. Finally, he asked gently. Is something on your heart? Those simple words unlocked emotions that had been waiting for months. Your soulmate slowly nodded. Their voice trembled. I need to tell you about someone. The father listened carefully. No interruptions. No judgment. Only quiet attention. Your soulmate spoke your name. For the first time. Not as a passing thought. Not as a casual conversation. But as someone who had become deeply important. Every sentence carried honesty. Every memory carried warmth. Every word revealed how much your presence had quietly changed their life. The father didn't rush to answer. Instead, he kept listening. Because sometimes love deserves to be heard completely before anyone responds. Stay till the end. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. As the conversation continued, your soulmate shared moments nobody else had ever heard. They talked about the kindness they had seen in you. The encouragement you unknowingly gave. The peace they felt whenever your name crossed their mind. They admitted something they had never admitted aloud. I don't know exactly how the future will unfold. But I know this person has changed me. The father's eyes became thoughtful. Not because he doubted the story. But because he recognized something rare. Real sincerity. He remembered being young himself. He remembered what genuine love looked like before the world complicated everything. His expression softened. Then he quietly asked. How do they make you feel when life becomes difficult? The answer came without hesitation. They remind me to become a better person, even when they don't realize they're doing it. The room became silent once again. This time, it was a peaceful silence. One that carried understanding instead of uncertainty. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Because something huge is waiting for you. The father slowly stood up. He walked toward the window. For several long moments he simply looked outside. Your soulmate wondered what he was thinking. Were these good tears? Or tears of disappointment? Nobody knew. The suspense grew stronger with every passing second. Then something unexpected happened. The father quietly smiled. Not a loud smile. Not an emotional speech. Just the kind of smile that carries years of wisdom. When he finally turned around, his eyes were shining. Your soulmate immediately noticed the tears. Real tears. Not tears of sadness. Tears of overwhelming joy. He gently wiped them away before speaking. You have never spoken about anyone like this before. Your soulmate nodded. No, because nobody ever made me feel this way. The father closed his eyes for a brief moment. Almost as if offering a silent prayer of gratitude. He had waited for this conversation longer than anyone realized. Every parent hopes one day their child will discover someone who inspires kindness instead of fear. Hope instead of confusion. Growth instead of selfishness. And today, he believed he was finally hearing that story. Stay till the end. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. Then came a sentence that changed everything. The father said softly, if your heart becomes more compassionate because of this person, never take that gift for granted. Those words settled deeply. Your soulmate couldn't hold back the emotion anymore. They smiled through tears. Not because every answer had appeared, but because they finally felt understood. For the first time. They didn't have to hide your name. They didn't have to pretend your importance was smaller than it truly was. Their father accepted every word with respect. But the story wasn't over. Not even close. Because what happened next surprised everyone. The father quietly disappeared into another room. Several minutes passed. Your soulmate waited patiently. Questions filled the silence. Why had he left? What was he looking for? Was something wrong? Then, he returned carrying an old photo album. Its cover showed signs of many years. He carefully opened one of the pages. Inside were photographs from his own youth. Pictures filled with dreams. Family. Faith. And unforgettable memories. He pointed toward one particular photograph. This was the day I realized your mother was the person I wanted to walk through life with. Your soulmate listened carefully. The father continued. I wasn't certain about every detail of the future. But I was certain about how becoming close to her changed my character. He looked directly into your soulmate's eyes. Real love doesn't simply excite your emotions. It quietly transforms your heart. Those words echoed through the room. Your soulmate understood something they had never fully understood before. Love isn't measured by dramatic moments alone. It is revealed through patience, respect, trust, and quiet acts of care. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then came one final moment that nobody expected. The father reached out, placed his hand gently on your soulmate's shoulder, and smiled again. I'm happy. Not because you found every answer, but because you found someone who reminds you to become the best version of yourself. Tears filled both of their eyes. Neither of them needed long speeches anymore. Sometimes hearts understand what words cannot explain. That evening ended differently than it began. Fear had become peace. Silence had become understanding. Hidden emotions had become shared hope. And somewhere beyond that conversation, the future quietly began writing its next chapter. Perhaps the greatest surprise wasn't that your soulmate spoke your name. Perhaps it was discovering that sincere love has the power to unite generations through kindness, honesty, and hope. If this fictional message touched your heart, remember this simple truth. The strongest relationships are often built through quiet conversations, patient hearts, and the courage to speak honestly when the moment finally arrives. Don't skip the next chapter. Stay till the end of every journey. Because sometimes the biggest miracles begin with one honest conversation, and something huge is always waiting just beyond the page you cannot yet see. Just when it seemed the conversation had reached its most emotional moment, another unexpected chapter quietly began to unfold. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate thought the evening was finally coming to a close. They believed the tears had already fallen. They believed the biggest surprise had already happened. But they had no idea that their father had been carrying a secret in his own heart for years. He carefully closed the old photo album. Instead of placing it back on the shelf, he held it tightly against his chest for a few moments. His expression changed. There was gratitude in his eyes, but there was also something else. Something your soulmate had never seen before. It looked like hope returning after a very long time. Without saying a word, he walked toward the kitchen and quietly prepared 2 warm cups of tea. The silence between them no longer felt uncomfortable. It felt meaningful. Every second seemed to carry a message that words were struggling to express. Your soulmate wondered why their father appeared so thoughtful. Then, after taking a slow sip, he finally spoke. You know, there was a time when I prayed for this exact conversation. Your soulmate looked up in surprise. You did? His father smiled gently. Many times. I never prayed that you would become wealthy. I never prayed that everyone would admire you. I prayed that one day someone would enter your life and inspire you to become more compassionate, more patient, and more grateful. Those words settled deeply into your soulmate's heart. For the first time, they realized that their father had been quietly watching every season of their life. Every disappointment. Every unanswered question. Every silent struggle. Parents often notice battles their children never speak about. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The father continued with a calm voice. I noticed something changed in you recently. You smile more. You speak more kindly. You have become more patient with people. You even carry yourself differently. I wondered what had happened. He looked directly into your soulmate's eyes. Now I understand. It wasn't success that changed you. It wasn't luck. It was the influence of someone whose heart left a beautiful mark on yours. Your soulmate couldn't find the right words. Their eyes slowly filled again. Not because they were sad, but because someone had finally understood what they themselves had struggled to explain. The room felt brighter than before. Outside, the evening sky had begun to glow with soft colors. It almost seemed as though the world itself had paused to witness this conversation. Then something completely unexpected happened. The father quietly stood up and walked toward a small wooden drawer. He searched carefully before pulling out a folded piece of paper. It was old. The edges had faded with time. He unfolded it slowly. "This," he said softly, "is something I wrote many years ago." Your soulmate leaned forward with curiosity. It wasn't a letter. It wasn't a photograph. It was a short list of hopes he had written long before. At the top of the page were simple words. "For the future of my child." Below those words were several handwritten wishes. May they always choose kindness over pride. May they find someone who brings peace instead of confusion. May they never lose hope. May they be loved for who they truly are. As your soulmate read each line, emotion became impossible to hide. Every wish seemed to describe exactly what had been growing inside their heart. The father smiled through quiet tears. "I forgot I even wrote this. But today, I think I finally understand why. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you." Your soulmate carefully folded the paper and handed it back. Their voice was barely above a whisper. "I never knew you carried these dreams for me." The father answered gently. Parents don't always speak every hope aloud. Sometimes they simply carry them in silence. Another peaceful moment passed. Then the father asked one question that seemed to stop time. "If this person were standing here today, what would you want me to say to them?" Your soulmate took a deep breath. The answer did not come immediately. They thought carefully. Finally, they smiled. "I would want you to thank them." The father looked surprised. "Thank them?" "Yes. For helping me become someone I'm proud to be." Those words touched him more deeply than anything else that had been said all evening. He slowly nodded. Then one day, "I hope I truly get that opportunity." At that moment, neither of them realized how important those words would become. Because somewhere beyond this evening, life was already arranging another meeting. Another conversation. Another unforgettable moment. One that neither of them could possibly imagine. The story was far from over. In fact, the most heartwarming chapter had not even begun. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As the night grew quieter, your soulmate stepped outside for a moment to breathe in the cool evening air. The stars had begun appearing one by one. They looked upward and whispered a simple prayer of gratitude. Not asking for every answer. Not demanding every door to open immediately. Simply giving thanks for a conversation that had removed years of hidden fear. Inside the house, the father remained seated alone. He looked once more at the faded list of hopes. Then he quietly smiled and whispered to himself. "Whoever this person is, thank you for bringing light back into my child's eyes." Those words floated into the silent night like a blessing. Neither of them knew what tomorrow would bring. But for the first time in a very long while, tomorrow no longer felt uncertain. It felt full of hope. And somewhere, beyond what anyone could see, a beautiful new chapter was already beginning to unfold. Stay till the end. Don't skip. Because what happens next will touch hearts in a way no one expects. A new morning arrived, but the peace from the previous evening had not faded, it had only grown stronger. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate woke earlier than usual. For a few quiet moments, they simply sat beside the window, remembering every word their father had spoken. It no longer felt like an ordinary conversation. It felt like the beginning of a new season. There was a calmness inside them that had been missing for a very long time. Instead of carrying fear, they carried hope. Instead of wondering whether they should keep their feelings hidden, they finally believed that honesty had been the right choice. Meanwhile, in another room, their father had already begun his day. He wasn't reading the newspaper. He wasn't watching television. He was sitting quietly with a warm cup of coffee, thinking about everything he had heard the night before. A gentle smile appeared on his face once again. He whispered softly to himself. Whoever this person is, they have already brought healing into my child's heart. Those words were never meant for anyone else to hear. But they carried the deepest sincerity. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Later that afternoon, an unexpected visitor arrived at the house. It was an old family friend who had known your soulmate since childhood. After exchanging greetings, the conversation naturally turned toward family, memories, and life. The father listened quietly for a while. Then, almost without realizing it, he began speaking about the conversation from the previous evening. His eyes sparkled with pride. You know, he said gently, for the first time, my child spoke about someone with complete honesty. The family friend smiled. That must have been a beautiful moment. The father nodded. It was more than beautiful. It reminded me that hope still finds its way into people's lives. The friend noticed the emotion in his voice. You seem happier today. I am. I saw something last night that every parent quietly dreams of seeing. What was it? I saw my child speak about someone with respect, gratitude, and genuine admiration. The friend smiled warmly. Then you have already received a wonderful gift. Those simple words lingered in the room. Your soulmate happened to overhear part of the conversation from the hallway. They stopped walking. Not because they wanted to listen secretly, but because they had never heard their father speak with such warmth about them before. Their heart became full. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As the afternoon faded into evening, something surprising happened. The father walked over to your soulmate with a small wooden box. It wasn't expensive. It wasn't decorated with gold or jewels. It was simple. Well cared for. Clearly treasured. He placed it gently into your soulmate's hands. I've been keeping this for many years. Curious, your soulmate slowly opened it. Inside was an old pocket watch. Its hands had stopped moving long ago, yet it had been carefully preserved. Do you know why I kept this? The father asked. Your soulmate shook their head. He smiled. My father gave it to me when I was about your age. He told me something I never forgot. What did he say? The father held the watch carefully. He said, don't rush the moments that matter most. Some blessings take time. But when they arrive, you'll understand why they couldn't have come any sooner. Those words settled deeply into your soulmate's heart. They weren't just talking about time. They were talking about life. About patience. About trusting the journey. The father carefully placed the watch back into the box. "I want you to keep this now." Your soulmate's eyes widened. "But this belongs to you." He smiled softly. "It always did. But now its lesson belongs to you. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you." That evening, your soulmate held the little wooden box for a long time. Not because of its value, but because of what it represented. Trust. Family. Hope. The courage to believe that beautiful things often arrive quietly. As the stars appeared once again, the father stood outside on the porch. He looked toward the sky and offered another silent prayer. "May the road ahead be filled with kindness. May my child continue becoming the person they were created to be. And may the one they spoke about yesterday always be surrounded by peace." Unknown to him, your soulmate had stepped outside and heard every word. They didn't interrupt. They simply stood there with tears in their eyes. Never before had they realized how deeply they were loved. At that moment, they walked over and embraced their father without saying a single word. No explanation was needed. Some embraces speak louder than conversations. The father gently smiled. "I knew this day would come." Your soulmate whispered. "So did I. I just didn't know it would feel this beautiful." But just when everything seemed peaceful, a quiet knock echoed at the front door. Both of them looked toward the entrance. Neither expected a visitor at that hour. The father slowly walked forward. He reached for the handle. He opened the door. The person standing there carried news that neither of them had expected. For a brief moment, time seemed to stand completely still. "Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you." Because what was about to be revealed would bring another unforgettable chapter into this extraordinary story, one that would touch even more hearts than anyone could imagine. The silence at the doorway lasted only a few seconds, yet it felt as though time itself had paused. "Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you." Standing outside was an elderly neighbor who had known the family for many years. He wasn't carrying alarming news. He wasn't wearing a worried expression. Instead, he held a small envelope in his hands and smiled with quiet warmth. "I hope I'm not interrupting," he said softly. The father welcomed him inside. "Not at all. Please, come in." The elderly man looked toward your soulmate for a moment before speaking again. "I've watched this family for many years, and today I felt I should stop by." Your soulmate exchanged a curious glance with their father. Neither of them understood why he had come. The elderly man carefully placed the envelope on the table. "It isn't something valuable," he explained. "But I believe today is the right day for it. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you." The father slowly opened the envelope. Inside was an old photograph. Its edges had faded with time, but the memories it held were still alive. It showed the father many years earlier, standing beside his own parents, all smiling with genuine happiness. The elderly neighbor pointed to the picture. I found this while organizing some old family belongings. I thought it belonged back with you. For a long moment, the father couldn't speak. He gently ran his fingers across the photograph. Memories filled his heart all at once. He smiled through tears. My parents always taught me that kindness becomes a family's greatest inheritance. The elderly man nodded. They were right. Then he looked toward your soulmate. And now I see that lesson continuing. Those simple words filled the room with emotion. Your soulmate felt as though invisible threads were connecting generations together. What their grandparents had once taught, their father had quietly lived. And now those same values were becoming part of their own journey. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The conversation continued late into the evening. Stories from the past began filling the room. Stories of courage during difficult times. Stories of forgiveness. Stories of choosing compassion when anger would have been easier. Each memory seemed to carry the same message. Love grows stronger when it is built on character. The father looked at your soulmate with gentle pride. I wanted you to know where these values came from. They weren't invented yesterday. They've been carried through our family for many years. Your soulmate listened carefully. Every story made one truth clearer. The feelings they carried for you weren't simply about emotion. They were about finding someone who reflected the same kindness they had been taught to value since childhood. That realization made everything feel even more meaningful. Then, unexpectedly, the elderly neighbor smiled. I have one question. Both father and child looked toward him. If one day this person walks through your front door, what do you hope they feel first? The room became quiet. Your soulmate thought carefully before answering. I hope they feel safe. The father smiled immediately. Without hesitation, he added. And I hope they feel welcomed. The elderly man laughed softly. Then you've already built the most important part of any home. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As the evening came to an end, the neighbor prepared to leave. Before stepping outside, he paused. He turned back toward the father. I haven't seen this much happiness in your eyes for years. The father answered honestly. Neither have I. Then he looked at your soulmate. Yesterday, I thought my child was sharing a story. Today, I realized they were sharing a future they truly believe in. Those words stayed in everyone's heart long after the door closed. Later that night, the father quietly placed the old photograph beside the wooden box that held the pocket watch. Two simple treasures. Neither expensive. Neither extraordinary in appearance. Yet together they represented something priceless. Family. Faith. Hope. Patience. And the courage to believe in beautiful beginnings. Your soulmate stood nearby, watching silently. I'll take good care of them, they promised. The father gently nodded. I know you will. Then he added one final thought that neither of them would ever forget. Never measure someone's worth by what they own. Measure it by the peace they leave behind wherever they go. Those words echoed deeply. Your soulmate immediately thought of you. Because that was exactly what your presence had brought into their life. Peace. Hope. A quiet strength that couldn't be explained with ordinary words. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Outside, the stars filled the night sky once more. Inside the house, everyone believed the most emotional moments were finally over. But life was quietly preparing another unforgettable surprise. Far away, someone unexpectedly mentioned your name in a conversation neither your soulmate nor their father knew anything about. The words spoken that night would begin a chain of events no one could have predicted. By the time the next sunrise arrived, a message would appear. A door would begin to open. And hearts that had once been strangers would move one step closer to a meeting that seemed impossible only days before. The journey was far from over. In fact, the chapter waiting ahead would become the one everyone remembered most. So don't skip. Stay till the end. Because something truly unforgettable is just beginning.